So your age group doesn't think about purpose.
Well, I don't know. I think different people differ, especially with having the perspective of not just the engineering industry and not just the audio industry, but also all these different industries that people come and talk about on the show.
Okay.
I think it totally matters based on a person. Like, some people need to be goal-oriented, some people need to be purpose-oriented, some people, that freaks them out.
Okay. So how did the engineer, because that's what you do, the day-to-day software engineer, I mean, it's not that far-fetched, but what in your day job said, oh, I want to do something extra?
Yeah.
Or is it something extra? Is it a part of Jennifer?
Yeah, I didn't really have a conscious decision that, oh, I'm going to have this thing on the side or have this thing that I'm doing. And I honestly think of my day job as a thing on the side and
Nice.
the podcast as my core.
Okay.
But yeah, I didn't realize it was a thing until it just happened and people were listening to it and I was going along it and I was, building a website for it, buying stickers to promote it, calling people up, talking to people, trying to get it out in different ways, writing press releases. I mean, it was all just such a whirlwind, and I just loved it so much that I was so excited to be working in different sides of it. Okay. I had never created a business before. I had never created a podcast before. I wasn't even really that active, digitally, and by that I mean I wasn't that person that had a blog in high school or college.
Okay.
I never dabbled in this before, and once I got into it, people talk about it, about what is it like to create a podcast, and I'm not the only one that's created a podcast. I'm not the only one that's created a website, but there are these different things that people say to do, or these different methods, and I was so excited to try them all out.
Okay.
So it didn't become a thing consciously. It just started as something, and then I liked it, and then all of a sudden it was taking up so much time and effort and fun because I was really trying these different things that encompassed starting a business and starting a media business.
Now, I've only been introduced to your work the last couple of months. And in the last couple of months, including myself as a potential guest, it seems like your guests have also been older. Again, I haven't seen shows before.
Yeah.
You've been on air for a year and a half. But how are the shows with older folks differ from necessarily having someone that's your age group?
Yeah. The age range really does vary.
Okay.
I almost got a kid on the show once who's a ballerina in New York City.
Okay.
And her mom really was interested in having her come onto the show. We went to the same yoga studio.
Okay.
But hasn't happened yet to get someone who's younger than me. But it does range. It ranges from, I would say, my age, maybe even 21 to, I think that the oldest we've gone is 75 or so.
How is it different in conversation?
Yeah. I think it's, I don't know. I don't know how to answer that because I can't tease apart just the age factor.
Okay.
Because the content that they talk about is so different.
Okay.
So there's so many different things that vary between these episodes.
Okay.
That's not just age, so it's hard for me to break it down.
Has there been something though that you've
That's different.
noticed?
I mean, the thing,
I'm sure there has to be one thing that happens all the time with your 40 plus over, and something that happens all the time with your 30 younger. Or no, I could be reaching.
I think well, two things that I can say are totally different is, one of them is voice. I think people's voices change when they're older. So you can audio, it's so weird, but you can judge someone's age when you listen to them, usually.
Okay.
You can't, you don't hit it accurately, but you can tell when someone's older versus someone's younger.
Okay.
The other thing that varies is podcasting is a very mobile friendly platform. So what that means is that it's made for listening to audio bits. So
Right.
the way I describe it is, and I don't know if all your listeners know what podcasting is, but it's basically video on demand, like Netflix.
Okay.
Or on your TV that you pick from whatever. So it's basically video on demand, but for audio. So you get to you get this, you subscribe to this feed, and you can see an entire library. You get an app, not really subscribe to the feed. You get an app, and all of a sudden you have access to all this library of audio segments.
Okay.
And my audio segments all sit under the podcast called PerNYC. So
Okay.
a podcast is basically like a show that has a lot of episodes under it.
Okay.
Like it would for video, but for audio. So, where was I going for this? So it's mobile friendly.
Right.
It's created for something that you can use on your cell phone.
Okay.
There are ways to listen to it on a computer, and that's through the website, which is PerNYC.com is one way to listen to it. That's not the beekeeper.
Marketing. No. Oh no, that was not the beekeeper.
Yeah.
Some brands of naked guy. No, he
Yeah.
wasn't naked.
New York.
Yes, which is. So, are you from New York?
I am not from New York.
Okay.
I think I am, and I really love when people tell me that they think that I am.
Okay.
It really
Are you
is.
a Midwest girl?
No.
Okay.
I am. I was born in Israel.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting
and
that.
It's a shocker because I'm so pale.
She said it.
I know. I
wasn't
like look like.
expecting-
Can you imagine putting me out in the sun?
Okay, so you're from, but were you born there?
I was born in Israel.
Oh wow. Okay.
But I grew up mostly in New Jersey.
Okay.
And I went to college in upstate New York.
Okay.
And I've been living in New York City since, besides that spell of like 4 months living in my parents' house after college.
Okay. Okay. Are you the only child? You have
I'm
siblings?
the older child. I have a younger sister.
Okay. And not to pry or anything, but
No.
you come from a two-parent home?
I do come from a two-parent home.
Okay.
I come from a two-parent home, and I come from a two-parent home where it was really just only the two parents. So the
What
rest
do you
of my
mean?
family, so my grandparents, well, both of my parents are only children.
Oh, okay.
So that really cuts out the like aunts and uncles and cousins
Right.
side of things.
Right.
But you do have, I had grandparents.
Okay.
Both of them, both sets. And they lived in Israel until I was 13. So
Okay.
really, we lived here in America, and it was just me. And then my sister was born later.
How
and
far
my two
apart are you
parents,
guys?
8 years.
Okay.
It's very very not so much family.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did they feel when you went? Okay, because you did 4 months after school. I know your mom probably, as much as they were get out, they were happy. So
Yeah, so
but
happy.
now you left Jersey and you came to big old New York. It's
Yeah.
not far, but it's across the water,
Mhm.
and it's big bad New York City.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get the call every night? How often do you talk to your mom?
Yeah. It's funny, you learn how to be. Oh, well, I live very close. I live on Avenue B in Manhattan, and I'm next door to the projects.
Oh, okay.
And that was very worrisome to my parents, who
Mhm.
really isolated me in privileged communities in a privileged university, basically until I came here.
Okay.
So yes, it was very traumatic for my mother and my father, but you learn so many skills, and I think that she was so scared because she doesn't know. She's scared of the unknown,
Mm-hmm.
and I've met so many incredible people that didn't grow up like me, that are just so much more well versed in life and know so many things,
Mm-hmm.
that I've been so honored for them to have given me the chance to hear them speak to, and for them to not shut down because we're different,
Right.
and for them to open up to me. Yeah. The other thing about where was I going with this?
It was good to mention you were. Well, we were talking about your
the being
parents
scared.
and
No, the
right.
being scared, and and both of us are women,
Mm-hmm,
ladies in New York City. It was a couple months ago. I was walking around, and I saw something that was going on over there, somewhere over there, and I was walking next to my friend who was a guy, and I was do you see that thing, like that little thing over there? He's like, what are you talking about? Like, how did you notice that? And I'm just so, I think I have like a 360 hyper awareness of everything around me all the time that I've developed and perfected in New York City.
Got you. What has been, if any,
Yeah.
because you've had an array, like you've done 40 shows already?
51 to date.
Excuse me, 51. So 51 different people.
Well, more than 51 people, because some of the shows have more than one. So like there was a band that we once featured that had like 6 people in it.
Okay.
So that like bumps up. So there was like one creation with 6 creators.
So
part of it.
51 episodes.
Yeah.
Has there been anything that you've learned about yourself yet from listening to others?
Yeah. I mean, I've learned
One thing.
One thing that I've learned.
That was like light bulb, like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Can I say 2?
Yes.
Okay. So one thing that I learned is that, wow, there's so much that I don't know. There's so much that I don't know. But like, I didn't know like calligraphy was even a thing. Like, when did you learn that calligraphy was a thing? Like, when did I miss the memo on that? That I like at 25, someone was a calligrapher that I bumped into, and they like explained what calligraphy is. So that's one thing. The other thing is that, what did I learn? The other thing that I learned is that creators are not the same. So when I started it, I know, but when I started it, I thought, you could go on like Forbes.com or BusinessInsider.com or there would be some website that had a list of like top 10 characteristics that successful creators have.
Okay.
And I thought there would just be like a list of them, and throughout like the first 5-10 episodes, I would like figure out the formula, and it would just it would all make sense and click. And what I realized is that like everyone is so different, even amongst the at this point recognized successful people.
Oh, okay. That's a good point. What has disappointed you?
What has disappointed me?
Has anything disappointed you? Let me say that.
Yeah, I think, and you can probably relate to this. You're trying to get something that you made seen by other people, and that's always hard. You're not the only one trying to get seen by other people. So I think it's a lot of taking the time to share what you've worked so hard on, and you really have taken the time to recognize would be good for this person to recognize, and it might not hit them, they might not come across it, they might skim over it. That sometimes is very hard.
So then how?
Really, what was that word that you used? Like when we're like gorilla.
Yes.
Oh my
this
God.
I love you right now.
And that's a great thing to like discuss. I mean, and I said like this is the first time I've ever done a business, and when I mentioned, and I want to like cover up the previous segment, not cover up, but like append to the previous segment where I said, like not everyone recognizes what you're doing. It's not, I think, even when I am world famous and everyone knows of the PerNYC podcast, and NPR is calling me and asking me to get the show syndicated on NPR, and I am being paid to do not just PerNYC but also do a version of it in like Tel Aviv or Barcelona or London or everywhere.
Claim it.
Yeah, totally. And even when I hit that, I'm just such a self-critical person that I would still be like, wait, but that person that I met at the bar last night never said that they would ask me like more about the podcast, and I would send them my information. Like, I think the side of me will never change no matter what. So when I speak to the fact that not everyone is replying, what I can't fathom is why the world won't revolve around me.
But the funny thing that I'm glad that you brought that up is because I think that we all think that. Like I go through Facebook and I go through Instagram, and I'm trying to figure out like, what are you watching? everything is whack. Why are you not watching the Movement Natural Sessions? Like, what are you talking about? Like, if this amount of people like the show, why isn't everyone watching the show? But I realized the work that goes into that. People just are not gonna just, you know, there's a fucking billion creators out there, you know, creating content.
It's very
different
saturated.
Things. Like the other day, I'm in this group where we have to look at each other's shows and comment, but authentically. And it was so refreshing that I got to see different types of concept and not another beauty vlog, you know, not another makeup tutorial. You know, I felt like for some reason everybody was doing that. So it was interesting to see a woman talk about cleaning her car, and she's a new mom, and what techniques that she used to clean her car. Or another young girl who I totally fell in love with her, who just finished grad school but read the letter that she wrote to herself her freshman year in college, and how, you know, but it was refreshing to see different stuff, but then it was also threatening in a little bit, because it's like, okay, you're not the only one that has good content, you're not the only one that has diversity, you're not the only one that has variety, there are other folks. So what do you have to do? You have to put the work in, you have to figure out your tabs, you have to figure out your clickbait, or you have to figure out what art you're using to showcase your work, you have to figure out what graphics come in. So I think what's the good thing about this guerrilla thing, when I was saying to you about working with people who are other creators, because then you can kind of relate and understand, but then you can also feel like you're not alone in feeling, why isn't everyone watching? Why isn't everyone commenting? Why didn't that person follow up? Why? You know, you know that your shit is good, but you still have that question, not if you're good enough, but when is it going to pop? I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I don't know. I sometimes wonder if it's a defense mechanism or if it's my personality, but I really see that one of the more important things about PerNYC are the like moments that I have with people, like the moment that we're having right now, to, you know, find the person that I shared my information to, that asked me to write them an email, and I wrote them an email, never responded to it, but that moment that I had when I was telling the person about it, like, that was a good moment nevertheless. These brainstorming conversations that I have with people, like, those are just, I mean, I wouldn't have those moments if it wasn't for the podcast. You don't just call up your friend and you're like, a random person. These aren't even my, like, I mean, they become my, I think everyone who's on the podcast is my friend, but these people that just enter your life, or you enter their life, or someone from that whose life you've entered put someone else's life in contact with you, and it's crazy, these conversations that I'm having with people. So to me, I again, I don't know if it's a defense mechanism to supplement this idea of just marketing and evaluating myself based on my reach and my impact. But to me, it means so much, those moments, because I am so aware that I wouldn't have them if it wasn't for the podcast.
So tell them one more time, because your marketing has been excellent this whole 29 minutes. I think you've said the podcast name 5 times, but tell them again.
So the podcast is called PerNYC.
When does it come on?
PerNYC. So because it's like video on demand, you can get it wherever. There's about a new episode every Monday or every other Monday.
How has that been, like, the consistency of putting, because that's what they also say as we as creators, they said the way that we can get people in is the constant routine of when we put out information.
I haven't been so strict on the routine. Sometimes I put out 2 a week, sometimes I put out 1 a week. That's just my personality and my go about it. Hold on. Wait, what was the question again?
I don't remember. Has anyone in your personal life say you're wasting your time?
No.
Okay.
No. Maybe if I went all in and I like quit my money making job, people would be commenting on it more. There was a time when I thought about it and everyone was in huff and puff about it. So I'm sure that then they would be speaking more.
Do you think that might happen? Do you think you might leave corporate America?
Well, I don't think it's like, I'm not so much on the corporate side of it. Maybe, I don't know. It depends.
The beauty of being 25.
I know, you don't know yet. You don't know yet what your life holds. But I think, yeah, you don't, I mean, have you said before on the show whether you're doing just this or you're working on a lot of other stuff too?
I think as an artist, unfortunately, you're always working on multiple things.
Yeah.
The one thing that I have learned is that people always teach you to have multiple streams of income, but I feel like that's a misguided direction because you can have multiple streams of income in your business. So I've learned to have multiple streams of income in my business where it allows me to wear different hats and do different things. But my core at the moment, my core, my baby, what I'm pushing the most is this show. Because I feel like this show is giving me a voice to do the other things that I'm being commissioned to do. So I guess that coming back to you in a sense of not necessarily leaving corporate, but being in a place that you could ultimately, if you chose, do PerNYC completely full time. Do you think you would ever do that?
Yeah, I think I would. I think that, it's taken so many different shapes and forms. I mean, I wonder what the shape would be like then. I've thought about whether it should be just a podcast or whether I should make it into a magazine or whether I should make it into a video. And I'm trying to, I definitely didn't come up with, I'm surrounded by a lot of business people, whether it be through my day job and constantly being thrown around different tech companies. The idea of making a business that's fruitful, profitable, fun for you, but also, where is it going to be in the long run? Like, do you want to sell it to someone else? Do you want to see it grow? Do you want to get it like combined with another company? Well, what do you want to do with it? And I haven't approached the start of PerNYC with a business-minded perspective, but I think after having this as my first baby, I definitely have a bit more of an eye on that. You don't go into thinking, oh, money. But when you realize you love it so much, you think, oh, like, what if this was the only thing I did? But I don't know. That's changed a lot over the years, too. Like, whether you think that you should be doing one thing or working on a ton of things, especially in New York City. I mean, some people here have, like, 4 jobs at the same time. You become so open-minded to the idea of whether you need to be doing one or a billion things.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's it. It's quite simple. We
Do
should do a Facebook Live.
Do you want me to preset this?
Yes, go ahead.
So Kat was telling me how she had plans for dinner. We were supposed to start recording at 7, but things moved and started around. So we ended up starting to record at around 8. But when she thought it was starting at 7, she made plans to go to dinner with this guy at 8. And obviously she wasn't making it at 8 at that point. She let him know that she wouldn't be there at 8. To which he replied that she should come to him when she's done and invited her.
And I text him prior to let him know that I'm gonna, be coming later.
Yeah.
Still early enough. It's like 8:30, 9 o'clock, summer evening. So his reply was a text to the train to his house. So I say, okay, his house. Is there anything cute to eat for like a late dinner before we go to the house? If that's where our end point is going to be. And he replies by saying, yeah, there's fish fry, there's Applebee's. And I really feel bad because when I put this on, he's going to see this. But I think it's a check and balance for the men out there. Like, if you're trying to date a woman or impress a woman, I don't understand.
Yeah, and I think I've never dated a woman, so I'm not sure if the same happens within women to women. Okay. But I am knowledgeable that this happens. A man trying to court a woman.
Okay.
The food choice thing is I can't speak to that.
Okay.
I don't know, but I can definitely speak to like him asking for you to come to his place. I don't understand. I think, and I've been dating for like 4 years, like dating as in like not officially dating someone, but just going out on dates with people for about 4 years. And I to this day don't understand what are the rules, what are the ethics of meeting up with someone.
Okay.
So what is this like? I asked a guy out.
Okay.
if he wanted to go. Well, we met previously, and I was like, I want to go dancing on Friday.
Okay.
And I said, I want to go dancing on Friday. Do you want to go dancing on Friday? And he said, yeah,
Okay.
sure. And I was like, okay, when's a good time and where's a good place? And he said, TBD.
What's that?
Like, to be determined.
What's that?
And
Okay.
I know. Well, I don't know, but I'm 90% sure what that means is he wants to text me on Friday at 8 o'clock being like, oh, when are we going dancing? I'm here right now. We can go to this place where I am right now. And this happens all the time where people will like not really make plans.
Right.
Like
Yes,
I've had so
yes. Oh
many
my
plans.
God.
And then
Yes.
when he said TBD, I replied to like, when is this going to be determined? Because I'm like, oh, like, and he was like totally freaked out and couldn't reply. Like, I'm just like, we're just like, do you have a commitment problem with making a plan?
And then why is that? Like, how is that not the adults thing that we do? You plan for a meeting,
Yeah.
so how do you not plan for a date?
Yeah. Do you
To be
want me to
continued.
look good? Do you want me to like think about what I'm gonna wear?
I guess not. It's like,
do you want me to like?
yes.
do you-
Like, how is all of this supposed to just go to your house?
But it's not just all of that. It's like also like you yourself. If you are the person that wants a process of like the thought of going on a date and experiencing it and preparing for it psychologically, like it's exciting to think that you have a date
Yes.
coming up in a couple
Yes,
of days.
it is.
Like, why aren't you giving me the pleasure of having that part of it? It's like, it's so weird. So, I mean, you're making a sad face because it is
Because
very
why
sad,
don't
but
they?
a ton of
'Cause
guys
we
do that.
Because we do take into consideration the prep. So it's like, don't you take into, because you do want us to come and present and be pleasing on the eye and all that good stuff. So I make the face because I think that there's something valid that is not being thought of on their end. But they
Yeah.
do think about it, because if we came any old kind of way, or we were all nonchalant about it, then they would have problems with why we're so nonchalant about something.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to pick this up because
Yeah.
these mosquitoes.
But pick a time and place is what I'm saying.
And what you can do is, in the meantime, follow me on my YouTube channel and follow Jennifer at PerNYC.
That's true.
Because we will be
Thanks,
having
guys.
these conversations across the board.
Yeah.
All right, bye.
Saying like in your day. Gave him more that you and I used to try to get your heart back. Don't know if I do fake it or I just sometimes saw that.
What garbage bag?
Welcome to Dining with Diplomats, the show that travels the globe without leaving town.
Me out online. I need your help to build my YouTube page. Subscribe. Miss KittyRose 1.